How does it sound now?
Hello? Testing.
Oh no, that's the
Oh yeah, I gotta delete the other one off of there. I probably should have done that first, but
it's okay.
Can you hear me now?
Oh yeah, it sounds a lot better.
okay.
You're gonna have to like.
Tell people to come this way to this one. Wish
I should have deleted it, but I can't.
get out of it now.
Oh no, people
Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. I'm gonna have to go with headphones. Michael, yeah, for sure, man. I saw your message. I just hadn't got to it, man. I've just been busy with work and little man. I'll definitely get to you, buddy.
I have to send them to this one.
Awesome, Hugo.
What's up, Camo Joe? I hope you got my message earlier this morning.
Yeah, sorry, y'all.
I dropped my phone. I'm trying to see it. Yeah, I'm gonna do it this way because it sounds weird with both headphones in.
I
Yeah,
dropped my
that's
phone.
I
I guess.
guess I thought it was longer than 2 weeks ago, but I guess it wasn't, and my mic messed up. I can't even really call. I have to have my calls on speaker to hear. So just down a little bit. Awesome, Armando. Yeah, man. I was saying, the day I saw you out there, it was tougher than it sounded for sure.
Awesome, Chris. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want it to be any kind of difficulties trying to hear me or vice versa. So yeah, no, I'm glad it's better.
Glad it's better.
I'm glad you're doing better, by the way, buddy. I'm glad you got out for a little bit and yeah, I'm gonna give.
That's
what?
that's the link I
I
had.
had like posted too was the other one.
Yeah, I'm trying to like
If y'all could send people to this one, that'd be great. I don't know how many are on the other one.
But that'd be great.
Armando, it was slow at the beginning for me also, but I ended up getting a good couple of trees loaded up and active. Nice. Yeah, those trees out there, they just. Oh, no worries, Camo. No worries, man. Yeah, the those trees for me, they just were not doing much. Little man's in the background, so you're gonna hear him too.
I would have.
Have went live outside, but it's getting dark really quick too, so it'd be dark for sure by the time I'm done.
Andy, how's Hubbard?
Fishing, I was out there Saturday morning and caught some crappie and white bass under the bridge. Andy, yeah, I mean, to be completely honest, man, the bridge is about it unless you really could look around and um, I caught some fish on some rocks, and then ran my trip out there on Friday, and we looked around some more and found some more fish on rocks, and he, caught as many as he could there. Went looked around a little bit, fished the bridge. There's some fish on the bridge, but not like usual. Not like usual. Crop Express, what's up, man? Just got off Louisville. My buddy bought live scope the other day. Didn't know how to set it up and use it. He has no trolling motor. I had to laugh. Been there, done that. Oh yeah, yeah. You got to have that trolling motor paired with that live scope. It's gonna be tough without it.
I
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. I mean, you saw on our trip how crucial that spot lock was, and did you put the one he likes on there?
Crop Express. He figured out.
Quick that he did it back. Yeah, I mean that's with everything, just trial and error.
Chris. Hey man, I've been there.
Done that. Glad it's working now, man. Andy, hey kid, I was curious what kind of cart do you use to transport your kayak? I have I have to think of it now. I can't think of what it was. It's the landing gear, and I don't remember what brand it is. Maybe Boondocks, I think it is. And that's another thing. I have I have to get that fixed. I actually popped those wheels off of the gear track um, not too long ago. So sidekick, yeah, it might be that too. But well, y'all. So I want to say the fish are definitely biting and they're definitely moving.
That was part of the problem.
For that Hubbard trip is the places those fish should have been, they weren't there, and that's partly why I put that video out, just to kind of explain what was going on with that. But
Falls here, and
these
these.
fish are moving, especially after tomorrow.
I actually
The
had.
trip tomorrow, and I ended up moving it. Just it's gonna be too windy. It's just gonna be too bad. It's not bad for me to fish per se, but it's bad to run a trip. Just with especially with two people trying to hover over, cover that tight for two people to be able to fish. And 35 mile an hour, 45 or 40 mile an hour wind gusts. It's just not going to be an easy task.
So I ended up moving that.
Around. Oh, I thought I saw spies on here for a second.
But yeah, and then two.
The fish that I found were way shallow. They were probably half as shallow. I looked in 25 foot, and I caught, or I should say, well, I caught some too, but 12 to 14 foot deep is where we ended up catching fish, and we caught some good sized fish. Hugo, man, I think they're moving shallow. I think they're moving up, and this is Main Lake. I think right now they're moving up shallow on the main lake, and they're going to be there for a month or so, and they're going to feed. And come another month, give or take, they're going to start heading toward the creek. I mean, we're getting really close to the creek season.
Yeah, y'all be sure to.
Leave a thumbs up if y'all enjoyed this.
It really helps.
Helps me out YouTube wise. Michael, so what are these fall fish about to start doing? Chasing bait, following in the canals. Michael, they're gonna move up shallow on the main lake. So, like example on Ray Hubbard over the last week, the fish should have been 25, 20 foot deep, and the crazy thing is they were not there, and they had been previous years, and they were half as deep. They were 12 to 14 foot deep, and that's because those fish have pulled off of that deep stuff. Because that deep stuff is good throughout the summer. When it's 100 degrees, that water's 95, 90 degrees. Those those fish move off of that deep stuff, and that's what happened. And I didn't realize it had already happened. And I spent way too much time on those trees looking, just thinking maybe I was on the wrong tree, and and it was really weird. It threw me for a loop, especially on that lake. I'm still in the process of learning that lake. I feel like I know enough about it to go out there and do all right most days. Um, the bridges pretty much always have a few fish on them. But I try not to fish though, especially on a trip. I don't want to fish a bridge if I could help it.
And Michael,
Once
once.
they move up shallow on the main lake for a while, they're feeding up. I don't know if y'all saw the picture I put up from the trip. Those fish were thick. Those fish that were feeding, those fish were healthy. They're not summer fish that are real skinny. They were uh, they were putting on weight, and that's because they've been up feeding for a little bit. And after that, they're going to start heading up the creeks. I mean, it's getting really close. The water was 78 degrees, which is really wild considering. I mean, it's been cool, but it hasn't been that cool. And that was last week, though, so I'm sure it's went up a little. It was pretty warm today. Armando, I was catching in 10 foot on Hubbard and 30 on Louisville Weird. Yep. I'll tell you, Louisville, from what I've gathered, Louisville fish is pretty similar to Hubbard. Um, I the last time I was on Louisville, I caught them about the same depth, 12 to 15 foot. I caught a few deeper, but it definitely seemed like, especially those black crappie, really like that shallower water right now. And you would catch some whites, obviously mixed in, but
Those black crappie
are really shallow. And now I'm thinking about it, the bridge, they weren't very deep either, which they usually aren't, but just, you're in Louisiana, Michael? Awesome. Yeah, you got some great crappie fishing over there. Hugo, what water temp do you say determines that? Man, Hugo, I don't know of an exact temp that moves them off of that deep stuff, but I definitely think the closer, especially getting down in the 70s, the water getting down in the 70s, that really is going to move those fish, I feel like.
And we're good at
on main lake fall bite until about 60 to 55 degrees. That's when those fish really move off of that main lake stuff, and they really push toward that deep water and up the creeks. I went again today. The fish are everywhere, just not biting in the deep water. Deep water is full of shad. The shallows, I saw no bait balls, but they were biting. Yeah, that's another thing. So I have been seeing some fish deep, and there were some fish deep last week. They were really touchy though. They did not want to bite. Those fish that are shallower, and this is the same thing I've been finding too. So I'll fish a brush pile in 20 foot. The fish that are sitting up top, 15 to whatever foot, those fish are the ones that are biting. Those deeper fish down in there, deeper, they're just not wanting to bite.
Mark, I'll be out scouting.
Scouting some more. Nice. Be careful, man. It's supposed to be really windy tomorrow. Really windy.
Andy, yeah,
that's about the depth that I saw them at and caught them. That's definitely a good depth. Tina Ladybug, how's it going? Thanks for being here.
Sounds good, Michael.
Sure will, man. A1 Fishing, what's going on? Hugo still 83 to 85 here. Yeah, and like I said, that was last week, Hugo, so it's probably went up. I would be surprised if it's not in the 80s here.
I accidentally timed someone out.
Who did you time out?
Michael Bordeaux.
Oh. Sorry, Michael. She accidentally timed you out. She's taking care of little man, so.
Yeah, and I have my phone on, so you know how my phone is.
Sorry, you're good. She just did it by accident. Andy, I don't remember the last time I caught a white crappie at Hubbard. It's been nothing but black crappie. Andy, that's the same way. I could probably count on two hands the number of white crappie that I've caught on Hubbard in the last few years. It's majority black crappie. And I love that, you know, considering fishing other lakes that have nothing but white crappie. I like catching black crappie. Pro-Am, what's going on, buddy? Cold front coming through here tonight, tomorrow. Yep. That cold front's going to really help, y'all. I hear it all the time. Those fronts, you know, fish don't bite, cold front came through. This time of year, I love fronts because it triggers these fish. These fish, in the spring, it's different. That's the one time of the year I don't like fronts because those fish are trying to spawn. So if right now, when these fronts come through, it triggers these fish. Like they're like, oh man, fall's like really, winter's coming really quick. Look at this front coming through. That's how I think of it. Like, okay, we got to really feed. We got to feed. And it's not like in the spring when they're like, well, I'm trying to spawn, and another front comes through and cools the water off. Right now, that cooling water is triggering these fish to feed. So I'm actually getting out tomorrow. I moved my trip around just because I didn't want it to be unsafe for them or unproductive for them. It was going to be brutal, and it's going to be brutal for me tomorrow too. But I'm on a PTO day, and I can't move it around, so I have to take it. So I might as well go try. And I'm curious to see what this front does to the bite.
Hugo, where I've been fishing,
they're stacked in the hundreds on piles. They're biting, but all the little ones always, and most of the time, my bait first. There's so many of them. Yeah, and Hugo, that could be a couple of things too, man. That could be just I've noticed that myself. Certain times of the year, certain years in general, those fish, you know, they're cyclic in nature. They have good years and bad years, and Cedar Creek's like that real bad too. Cedar Creek, there'll be some years you go down there and there's nothing but big fish. There's some years you go down there, there's a lot more little fish than usual, and that's just how it goes. But I think after this front, Hugo, things will change down there. This is a pretty good front. This is one that we've needed for a while. The water's already, or it was already in the upper 70s to low 80s, so it's going to drop it even more. I have a really good feeling this front's going to just kick things off, and today for sure will be the last 100-degree day. There's no doubt. That's over with. If tomorrow is for sure windy, I'm looking at Thursday to hunt some crappie down the kayak. Nice. Yeah, Thursday's probably a lot better. Usually a couple of days after those fronts come through, those winds really relax. That high pressure moving in.
Man, Armando,
I haven't been over there in a couple weeks now. I don't know. That lake's just been off. I've caught fish and some good ones, Armando, but it's just not like it was the other last year. Even last year, it fished way better.
Andy, will you do bank
Trips for crappie in the winter? Or are you staying on the boat? I'm staying on the boat for the most part, Andy. My goal is I'm leaving the creek stuff for the YouTube, and then I'm using the boat, and I'll still run some trips in the boat in the winter. I mean, if anyone wants any. And I'm planning on running trips in the boat all winter, but I don't want to guide with the creeks. It's just too temperamental, too hit or miss, wishy-washy. It would stress me out like no other. It really would, and I just don't want to dabble in that. I mean, I may run a few, but it'll be in the boat for sure, and that's a big maybe. Depends on a lot then. Hugo shallow boat slips will be good. You think 7 to 10 foot? I think so. It's funny you mentioned that, Hugo. Yeah, I would not be surprised there's fish that shallow already. I really would not.
Oh,
Crappie Express, I'll take that to the bank, man. It's not gonna get 100 again the rest of the year for sure.
I will take
Take that bet. The only reason it got there today is because we have a front coming in tomorrow. If that front wasn't here, it wouldn't have got there today.
Now, I'm not saying it won't get
hot, but we definitely won't get another 100-degree. I don't even think we've had that many 100-degree days in general, but
That feels like it.
the humidity's just been high. All right, man. Yeah, no problem, man. Tell me when it does. Tell me when it does. I'll be waiting. He said he's gonna tell me when I said that it wasn't gonna get 100 again.
But yeah, I wanted
To bring up also when I'm on here, so y'all know I work full time. I have little man. I have family. I have just a lot going on in general, and not only that, but just with weather conditions, this or that, something coming up. When I don't know how to like come off at this, but if I need to reschedule a trip, or if I'm like, hey, can we move this trip over here or here, or Chris.
Oh my God.
I didn't even notice that was in there too. Yeah, he's getting into everything.
Look at my makeup and
He's
my lashes.
grabbing her makeup and that stuff. Some of that stuff's expensive,
Yes.
and we'll have to replace it, and I'll have to sell my boat and everything.
Hilarious. I just noticed that too.
I didn't even notice it till just now.
Baby fruity.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. So yeah, so when I'm needing to reschedule a trip or something like that, I mean I have, for example, like tomorrow the wind's gonna be bad. So I know based on the wind and experience and that kind of wind, it's not gonna be a fun day. Especially, we're gonna be against. How do I say it? The odds are gonna be against us before we ever take off from the dock. And I want the trips to be enjoyable. I don't want to get out there and everyone's like, "Oh, this is miserable. It's so windy." And I know how hard it is to stay over brush and stuff just on a normal day, let alone gust over 35 miles an hour. So I moved that. I just really appreciate it if you could just remain flexible. Just know that I have a lot going on. um, whether whether it's something with little man or just the weather, just scheduling in general. And then too, I'm still learning with all this. I'm learning how to juggle everything. So I hate to even bring it up, but it's come up, and I just you know I don't want to. I want to just put it out there, just that way. Going forward, everyone, if I need to reschedule for weather or this or that, just know that I have a legit reason, and I'm not trying to do it to be difficult. I have y'all's interest in mind at every decision when it comes to that. Um, and then as well, like, so if I reach out and say, hey, the weather's gonna be really bad, so we're gonna. Do you want to reschedule? Do you want to go? What do you want to do? And if you decide to go, just know that we're just going. And I don't. That's why I try to touch base with everyone a few days before, let you know the weather's going to be good, weather's going to be kind of sketchy. Um, I just don't want to get out there and, like I've told you before we left, the wind's going to be 50 miles an hour, let's say, and we get out there and the wind's blowing 50 miles an hour, and you're like, I want to go home. Can I get a discount? Can I get this? Can I get that? That's I can't do that, because I'm losing money at that point. Me getting the boat out there, filling it up with gas, all that doesn't change whether we go out there on a good day or a bad day. So I just want y'all to be well aware. And you can ask everyone that I've taken out. I'm upfront with them before we leave. Like with the trip last week, like I reached out to my client that day and was like, hey man, like it's tough. We can catch some fish, but just don't expect a banner day. And he was like, all right. He's like, I'm cool with that. Let's go. And we went out, and it ended up being better, but that's not always the case. So
There's nothing wrong
with that, man, got to be realistic about this stuff. Yeah, and that's the thing, and I with this instance, I actually went and bought some things and accommodated and went and scouted some different places that I wouldn't have normally went to, and just you know was trying to get
basically taking advantage.
of, basically.
And I just did not.
Not really like that. I'm not trying to rip anybody off. My prices are already low. I mean, you can look around. I mean, you can Google it pretty easily and see that I'm not charging that much compared to everyone else. Just in general across the board. So, um, just keep that in mind. Oh, Slab, there he is. Hey, Slab. Yeah, I got back on here, figured it out, at least for the time being. Barfly, what's going on, man?
I think they're on the other one.
One.
Andy, hey kid.
Kid, do you use a kill guard for your kayak? I don't. I actually probably should though, Andy. I really probably should. Um,
Yep, and I'm right there.
there with you, Slab. I'm right there with you, man. Like I said, if it's if the bite's tough, I'm gonna tell you. I'm not the type of person to go, we're gonna go catch 100 fish and we get out there and catch 10. I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna know before you ever step foot on the boat what the bite is gonna be like. And I think, I mean, I'm not no experienced guide or anything like that, but just in the time that I've been guiding, I can already feel that it's such a
It's like an automatic.
automatic expectation that you're going to catch limits. Not that I've been told that, but that's just when you take a guide, you're obviously wanting, expecting to catch a limit. I mean, you're not going out there paying the money and thinking, well, we're going to catch 5 fish today. No, that's just not how it is. And there's just so much more that I did not realize before I started guiding that goes into everything that actually ends up, with determining your numbers. I mean, just the client's ability to fish. Crappie are hard. I mean, and that's the thing too. The craziest thing is how many crappie bites so light that they don't know that there's a fish on there.
Armando's sent a donation.
Oh, Armando, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Really appreciate that, buddy. That means a lot. Sorry, I got lost where I was at. So, um, yeah, I forgot what I was even talking about. Andy, your prices are some of the lowest when it comes to guides. I follow a bunch of guides, so I know. Yeah, Andy, and that's the thing. I know that's the case. So I I just did not like, trying to get discounts and all that. And that's one thing. If I come to you and I'm like, it's a last minute trip, I'll take this much off, this or that. That's one thing. But as far as like, because I have to reschedule, that's that's the toughest is when I don't wanna reschedule, and if I have to, and I have no problem refunding deposits, anything like that. I got no problem. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. I'm not gonna take your money and run. So that's the thing. I don't want that deposit to be like, I'm not holding that deposit over your head. Well, you gave me a deposit, so we got to figure it out. We got to go. I mean, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, and I completely get it. Trust me. You go, yep, and your trips run all day. Other guides charge double what you do for half a day. Yep. And I accommodate. I do accommodate. If you want to fish for bluegill, or if you want to fish for, if the bite's a little bit slower and I don't have anything going on, pressing, we'll stay a little bit longer. If it means you catching a few more fish and making you that much more happy.
Where's Fredo at?
I don't know. I'm not. And then if we catch a limit early, I mean, you can. I mean, I've had a 2.5 3 hour limit on one trip, and we fished till the time was up. We didn't just go in. So
Mark.
you baby that kayak compared to me, yeah, man. That kayak, I feel I'm pretty rough on that kayak, honestly. I cut a lot of that out of the videos when I'm over there dragging it over stuff and all that stuff. Oh, thanks, Slab. Yeah, if y'all would like to donate, Armando, thanks again for that. I appreciate it. If you want to donate, Cash App's always there. Super Chat, that just goes straight back into the channel. We're getting really close to creek season, and I'm excited. I'm really excited. Slab, I told you this before. Eric said he guided 302 days last year, and when he's not on the water, staying on the fish, it's very hard work. Yes.
Excuse me. So yeah, so that's the
thing. So, for example, for the Hubbard trip last week, I had to come out and scout the day before. So that's now. Granted, I wanted to go out there. I was planning on making a trip out there anyway, so it just worked out that way. But that's the thing too. You don't see the work that goes into it. Sergio, what's going on, man? You don't see all the work that goes into it, scouting, putting time in, and just there's a lot that goes into it. Like, I'm up at 6:15. I have to go get the boat. I have to fill it up with gas, get ice, get minnows, make sure snacks are in there, make sure his waters are iced down, especially when it's hot. Make sure rods are rigged. Like, there's a lot that goes into it, behind the scenes as well, more than I really honestly envisioned. But Crappie Fresh, brother, I had a blast when we went. It was so much fun. I'll definitely book another. I know Junior is in and can't wait either. Awesome, man. I had a blast having y'all out. I really did. Watching Junior catch that catfish that was half the size of him, man, that was awesome. I'm surprised it took so long to happen this year, because in years past it was almost clockwork. At least once a trip, it would happen. Slab, but he does it for a living, so you got to live on the water. Yep. And like I said, I'm doing this part time. Don't ever plan to do this full time. but it's going to be an option for me when, you know, things are slower on YouTube or I have extra time. I'm on a good bite, you know, weather's nice or whichever, but
I just wanted to put that on.
there. I didn't want to talk about guiding and all that the whole time, but I just wanted to put that out there. Michael, when are you talking about them transitioning to creeks? It's more, Michael, it's more of a creek, a feeder creek. It's the creeks that when it rains, it floods and it fills the lake up. They're usually on the upper ends. So basically, where the dam is on the lake, it's the opposite end. There's a creek that feeds the lake, and that's where those crappie go in the winter. Typically, I start looking around November 1st. I know there's already some fish in there, but I just like November 1st.
Some go deep,
Michael, and then some go up the creek. So there's a little bit of both. I like the creek scene myself just because it's funner, walking the bank, jig and bobber. You're more protected from the elements. You know, it's cold and windy in the winter a lot of times. You can go in those creeks and you're comfortable. There's fish. You're not out in the elements as much.
Crappie Express.
He talks about it a lot. He's very proud. I bet he is, man. He's going to be talking about that for a long time. A long time. And I'm just like, that was a crazy fish. I really thought he was hung up. I was like, uh-oh. And then nope, it took off and we had to chase it. It was awesome. I'm just glad, like I said when we were out there, I'm glad it happened to him.
It was just luck like that.
How it happened. Hugo, you're already doing more than you should. Guys nowadays tell you to bring your own food and water. People that don't use guides regularly won't understand. Oh yeah, man. No, I hear you. Yeah, it's the snack thing was the wife's idea. I'll be honest, so I'll give her credit.
Hugo, I'm gonna book a
Trip when it's 5-mile-an-hour winds, but it's 20 degrees out. Hey, that light wind makes it all the difference, man. That light wind, you won't even be able to tell it's 20 degrees.
Slad. Hey, y'all
Want this rain back and humidity back? Man, I think it's gone after tomorrow for a little bit. I think you said y'all are getting it too, so just hang on a couple more days, man. It's cooler weather's coming. Yeah.
So, and like I was
saying 3 solid days and tomorrow too. Oh man. Just hang in there, buddy. Hang in there. We're almost there.
Yep. Andy, I do
fillet the fish. I will say I've only had to fillet the fish once, but I will if you want me to. I have no problem doing that.
Yeah, I've
seen that, Andy.
Raymond.
So my rates, I'm right now I'm primarily on Grapevine. I'm just gonna tell you, it's 200 for one, and 300 for 2 people for a half day. From roughly 8 to 1, and that's fish clean and bagged and everything as well.
I put the email. Did you put?
Yeah, I saw. So the wife put the email in there if you're interested in a trip. I'm mainly going to run trips on Grapevine for the time being. I will run some on Louisville as well if the weather's right. Louisville's a huge lake, and I don't want to get out there and get, in an unsafe situation with anybody in the boat. So that's definitely an option. If we catch the wind right, we'll definitely go out in Louisville and catch the fish.
Joe Pool, I haven't
been back out there to look, but last time I was out there, it just wasn't that good. Enough for me to at least run trips.
Hubbard, I can run
a trip or two, but I will have to charge more than that 200 to 300, depending on, how many people.
Just because it's further for me,
and it's a lot more gas, a lot more traffic, a lot more time.
Huh?
I thought you were gonna say something.
Oh. I can't wait to get up
them creeks in my boat. Yep. Some of those best creeks, Armando's the ones that you can't get your boat in. Oh man, Hugo. When are you getting out next, man? Slab is supposed to cool down a little bit after tomorrow, then back 85 temps. Summer temps won't die. Yeah, man, it's supposed to be 90 something again by the weekend here, but I think with less humidity, so that'll help, I guess. Michael, Feeder Creek's on the north side or south side? What's the difference? So it depends really on the way the lake lays. Majority of the feeder creeks around here are north, on the north side of the lake, but that's not necessarily the truth. The same for every lake. Paul Carr, what's going on, buddy? Thanks for being here, man. So that's not necessarily the case for every lake. It's just the end of so where the dam is on the lake, because most every lake around here is man-made. There's only one natural lake in Texas, and it's Caddo Lake. Everything else around here is man-made. So every lake around here has a dam, and it's the opposite side of that. So where the lake ends, but there's no dam, and there's a creek that comes in. That's where I look for the winter crappie.
You go hopefully this weekend.
Depending on the winds. Oh yeah, well I think y'all should be good. You should be good for the weekend winds. Usually a couple days after that front was tomorrow Tuesday. Yeah, by Thursday, Friday it should be nice and calm. It's every time like that after front comes through and that high pressure builds in. Fishing an oxbow, says Michael. Yeah, man, I have no idea about oxbows. We don't have any oxbows around here. It's it's like where a lot of them, like Louisiana, the Mississippi, it's where the river changes over time. And so like it went here at one time, and but now it goes here, and there's a big like creek and part of the river that goes over here, but it's not a part of the river anymore. So it's like a creek. It's because it winds, and over the years it changes shape. We don't have any of those around here.
Yep, Mark's right.
Some lakes have more than one feeder creek.
Slab, the
You
humidity.
won't go away. All I'm asking. Oh yeah, man. We're gonna be there, man. Just hang on. I know I'm the same way, man. I'm just ready for winter. I'm ready for fall. I mean, it's already pretty much here. Birds in the background going crazy. Barfly fishing. Texoma has South Creeks that load up. Yep. And that's why I say it just depends on the lake entirely. Every lake is different. Like Texoma's got creeks going everywhere, north, south. The only way I think it doesn't have a feeder creek, is east. I think it's got one every which way. Other than that, I mean, I wish I knew more about oxbows, but I have no clue, and I'm not even gonna act like I do because we don't have any around here. I mean, I think there's probably some on the Red River up there somewhere, but I've never fished them.
Yep, that.
I think Slab Lake Washington, I think, is an oxbow if I remember right. It's a big lake. Is it Lake Washington by chance? I think that's on the border of Louisiana and Mississippi, if I remember right. NDA, bro, I hated guiding. It made everything feel pressured and job-like. My advice is to focus on your social media presence. Your personality will take you farther than anything. You're a star in the making. Oh, man, NDA, I appreciate that. Yeah, it definitely is work. It definitely is work, and that's why I don't ever plan to do it full-time. It's just going to be a part-time thing for me. Just, basically however it goes is however it goes. It's not anything that, I don't have, it's not all I do, so it's not anything that I'm forced to do to pay bills or this. So it's all basically side money and boat money, but also YouTube's boat money as well. But yeah, I couldn't imagine doing it full-time. I really couldn't. That's why I just want to do it on the side, just make up some money, pay for the boat. That'd be great. Pay for all the stuff that I've gotten with it or for it. And can't ask for much more. I'm going to keep doing the YouTube no matter what. But y'all know YouTube's up and down. YouTube's always up and down. Nothing's consistent about YouTube. So that's why I want to have my options open. If the YouTube's really slow, I want to be able to pick up a couple trips. and that's just how I'm gonna play it. Come wintertime, I'm gonna be doing a little bit of both, but I'm gonna be walking those creeks no matter what, just because it does so well in the winter on YouTube. So that's what I'm gonna keep doing. I catch them very well in the spring in the creek, Falls River. If you catch them in the spring, Michael, I wouldn't doubt there's some in there. In an old river, nice. Roger, what's going on? Is the bridge at Louisville a good place to fish without a fish finder? Yes, every bridge on Louisville right now, Roger, is holding fish. Every bridge on Louisville is holding fish right now on the main lake. And I'd start 10 to 15 foot and just keep going up and down until you find the depth and start catching some fish.
Slab. We're there.
I mean, honestly, Slab, I'm considering today the end of summer. It was 100 degrees here. Tomorrow it's like 80. I don't foresee it getting 100 degrees, and I don't think it's going to be what I would consider hot for the rest of the year. Paul, there's some large oxbows on the Sabine River south of Toledo Bend. Yeah, I could see that. I could see that, man.
Wish we had
Fall, winter, and spring, nothing else. Man, Hugo, I love the summer bite. I'll be honest. It's hot, but I jump in the lake a few times. I'm good to go.
Crappie Connections
Intro song, Oxbow. Oh, you bet, Roger. Jigs will do good right now. Minnows aren't bad to have, especially if you're just starting out with jigs.
Hugo, man, so
I
I
consider the main lake basically anything that's not in the creek. So, and to be honest, anything, how do I say this? So anything halfway. So basically, if you have a lake like this and you split it down the middle, everything south, so mid-lake south to the dam usually is what I would consider main lake. Maybe even 3/4, I would say. But that very upper end that's like a foot deep, right before you get into the creeks, I wouldn't consider that main lake. The main lake for me is out past that when you have some depth, all the way down to the dam. And that's just in general. More main lake is, I mean, the more middle of the lake you get, the more main lake I would call it, if that makes sense. Problem is, we'll go from sweating to freezing in 2 weeks. Yep, that is for sure.
with 30-mile-an-hour
Winds, yep, we're going to have that tomorrow. Even higher, Slab. Chris, got to run, get ready for my live. Y'all be sure to check out Chris, Asleep at the Real Outdoors live after mine at 8 o'clock. It's always got, huh?
I asked, I'm like, I hope he's doing good.
Oh, you asked him on here? I think he's doing good. So y'all be sure to jump over on his live after mine. He's always got great content. So definitely recommend jumping on there and checking him out. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Barfly, looks like we have a full moon coming up. Fishing is going to suck for the next few days. Yeah. The thing with the full moon that I've noticed is it makes that bite late. But honestly, like in the summertime especially, like I tell the clients before we get out, like I have most meet me at 8 o'clock, and I'm not getting out there at sunup. It's just unproductive for crappie that I've found on the lakes that I fish. It's unproductive. I get out there and I tell them any fish we catch before 10 o'clock is a bonus fish. Those fish get biting when that sun gets up, it gets hot. That's when the fish start biting, for me at least. And with the full moon, it just pushes it even further back. At least for me.
Yep, they can see.
See at night, they're feeding all night long. So right early in the morning, especially morning time, they're full. They're not gonna feed. They're not gonna bite. That's why that later it does better because they've had time to digest it, and they're hungry again. Slab, the wind is the hardest to fish. If you can catch fish in high wind all the time, you're good. Yep, that wind is no joke, and that's exactly why I rescheduled that trip tomorrow. I've just done it long enough. I know how difficult it is to catch fish and guidable numbers in wind, especially 40-mile-an-hour gusts potentially. So,
especially two-person.
person trip, like that's really hard. I have to keep both people in the zone. It's just a lot more involved with two than one. Roger, man, I gotta learn about all this weather stuff like y'all are talking about. Yeah, man, Roger, that the weather just so happens I'm a weather nerd. So it kind of goes hand in hand with fishing, especially crappie. It just all goes together. Fish are you can
Where fish are located.
located, how they act, all that's dictated by the weather. So if you know the weather, most of the time you can know where the fish are at, what they're doing.
Yep.
And that's exactly yep. Slabs got it. Even in high winds with spot lock, you will move too much, and that's exactly what I told the wife with rescheduling that trip. This boat's pretty new to me. I have not fished in it in that high of wind. I don't know how easy it's going to hold over stuff, and I don't want to be out there scrambling trying to figure it out with clients in the boat. So that coupled with just the sheer amount of wind, I just wanted to move it just to be safe. Just I don't want to get out there and realize it's unfishable and just really be in trouble at that point. Kip W, what's going on, man? Ever try fly fishing with a Clouser minnow? I have not. I have never fly fished. To be honest, Kip, no offense, I just don't. It just doesn't seem appealing to me. I don't know why it just doesn't. Kind of like, I mean, honestly, like bass fishing is to me. That just does not appeal to me at all. Not to say I would never try it, but I just haven't felt the need to try it so far. Babs, I still haven't done any night crappie fishing. I want to try sometime. It's great. It really is. Get you some night lights or get you some boat docks that are lit up at night. That reminds me. I really wish I could do that. Used to do that a lot down at Cedar Creek. Go at night and fish those lighted boat docks.
Single days.
Mm-hmm.
Way back in the day. Michael, yeah, I've had side scan forever. I've had it I mean, as soon as it came out, basically all the way to. I mean, I still have it, so I've definitely put some time into it. You bet, Michael. I'll definitely help you out, man. Roger 10-4, I'll be studying weather more. Yeah, it's great. It's great. Yep, that's right. Yak and Tackle Outdoors. Thanks for being here. Appreciate you being here. Yeah, that's right. Those brush grippers are clutch in standing timber and wind. I wouldn't be without there, especially in a kayak without them. Even on the boat, they're great to have.
Mm-hmm. Where you
Clamp onto a tree.
spot wasn't designed for
25 to 35-mile-an-hour winds. No, it definitely wasn't. And I'm going to figure it out tomorrow. Tomorrow will help a lot because I'll know what I can get away with and what I can't. I'm going to know that threshold. I already know deep down it's too windy no matter what. So I need to know for sure, okay, it's a little bad, it won't hold, or like it's not even close to being fishable, and I'm gonna have to have way less wind. So oh, no worries, Hugo. Thanks for dropping in, man. I appreciate it. You have a great night. Gary, what's going on?
I always get your name mixed up.
I think if I remember right, you said it's Gary or it's Jerry. I can't remember which one it is. I've actually been doing a little bit of work tonight at work. Oh, nice, man. India, that was fun. You're very easy to listen to. You and Richard Jean are my favorite. Good luck with everything. Wow, thank you so much, man. That's a big compliment. I know Richard Jean is up there with the greats of the YouTube world, so I really appreciate that, NDA. Texas crop catcher, your right full moon or whatever, fish feed every day. When fishing, you have to find when and where. Yep, and that's the same with air pressure anything like that, fish feed, no matter what, you just have to adjust. Um, I feel like that stuff is just used as excuses too much. I mean, it's just I think of it like people. I mean, if it's like really cold outside, do you just not eat, or do you eat like soup, or do you eat like chili? You adjust, and that's what the fish do, and that's what you have to do to compensate.
Slab, don't get me wrong.
It's a great thing, a spot lock, but it has its limitations. Yep. And I'll tell you, Slab, so far I've noticed no wind is bad with the spot lock trolling motor. You want wind for sure. And that's something I would have never said without it. But it cannot handle wind or wakes for that matter. Grapevine's a madhouse, especially on the weekends. And it has trouble with all those constant boat wakes. Gary, okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I had it right the first time, I think. Yeah. I think I was calling him, I think Jerry one time or something, and he said it was the other way around.
Barfly bass boats take
Waves over the bow with two people sitting up front. Yep. Yep. And I didn't want to test it. I know for a fact how rough that kind of wind is. Kip, whenever you're in Cabela's or Bass Pro or any fly shop, buy several Clouser minnows, chartreuse and white, blue and white, beige. Fish them like you would on a jig.
Yeah, I'll definitely
Look at that. I haven't even looked, to be honest, but I'll definitely check it out. Thanks so much, Kip. Roger, where's better fishing, Ray Roberts or Louisville, in your opinion, without a fish finder? It's a good question. I would say for bridges, not Ray Hubbard, Louisville for bridge. If you want to fish a bridge, Louisville is the place to go. You can always catch fish on the bridges. Now there's 3 different bridges and everyone's different. 35 is better in the winter. The Toll Bridge and the Little Elm Bridge are better in the other months, in my opinion. And if you want to fish timber, Ray Roberts is your lake. That lake has so much timber. Louisville has timber too, but it's more spread out and harder to get to with a kayak. Uncle Bill, what's going on, man? Thanks for being here. Armando, my 36 volt 112 hold at 25 miles. Not that I do it too often, but I was on the lake when it hit all of a sudden. Oh man, yeah. Yeah, that wind will get you. That wind is no joke. Raymond, it's up a little further. You want to put the email in there again for me, if you can? The wife's gonna put the email in there again, Raymond. Do what Whitey Outlaw does. He fills his boat full of water when he's going to be fishing in high winds. Hey, that makes total sense, and that's what I'm curious. I had the tracker before, so the tracker would blow around like a kite. This boat's heavier, and I can already tell it sits better in the water. So she put the email in there. Raymond, just reach out, let me know. We'll get it figured out, buddy. So this boat sits better, so maybe it won't be that bad, but I just don't want to gamble and figure all that out with clients on the boat. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. You bet, Roger. I'm glad to help. Yeah, 112. Mine's not anywhere near that. Mine's about half that. I think mine's a 55. But I have a little smaller boat, so hopefully it'll work. We're gonna test it tomorrow. I might drain some batteries, but we're gonna test it. We're gonna just see what it can do. That way, I know going forward what the boat can handle and what it can't.
All right, y'all. So
I didn't even notice it's already 8 o'clock. So I'm gonna jump off here. I don't want to go over into Chris's live. So thanks for all the support. There's going to be a lot more videos coming out. I got some vacation time coming up, so I'm going to try and film as much as possible in between trips. be on the lookout for that. And we're almost to creek season. Slab, yeah. Only bad thing about aluminum boats, the ride and high winds. Also, waves slap bottom of the boat. Yep, they make a lot of noise. That's true, man.
But yeah, so y'all jump
Over there to Chris to sleep at the Real Outdoors. He's live right now, probably. Y'all jump over there, and we'll see you on the next one. Y'all take it easy. Y'all have a great night.